ask you just a few questions to make people know what happens here in the University of Florence. My first question is, in your personal experience, what are the principal difficulties that you have found in the spreading of the scientific news?
Newspaper editors. I travel a lot around the world, and I give many public lectures, and I find that people, everyone is fascinated by science and by the new discoveries that are being made. Sometimes scientists don't do such a good job of explaining, but I think the media does an even worse job, and newspaper editors just don't have a high opinion of their readers, certainly in the United States, and don't believe that science will actually be more interesting sometimes than sports. But partly it's the responsibility of scientists. They need to be able to explain to the general public how exciting science is and what wonderful things we're discovering about the universe and the world around us. After all, it's the public that supports science, so we have a responsibility to engage the public and let them share in our excitement.
Thank you. And talking about the public, how can the public now get information about the scientific news? How are the mass communication that we can use to have this kind of information?
Well, unfortunately, newspapers seem to be dying, but instead of newspapers, we now have the internet, and there's so much available. There's so many sites of different universities and laboratories that go to great efforts to explain what is happening. There's so many talks that are available on the internet. It's just often hard to find them, but there's so much available out there. And for people in Florence, of course, there's the university, which has wonderful researchers, and I'm sure they also sometimes give talks. There's this institute here, the Galileo Institute, which has visitors like myself coming from all over the world to spend some time here. I haven't found out whether they give public lectures to the public. I'm the director of a similar institute in Santa Barbara, and we, every month or two, give a public lecture. And we invite hundreds of people from the city, and they come and listen to one of our visiting scientists talk about the universe, or string theory, or nanoscience, or biology. And we have an enormous following in the community. So I don't know whether they do it here, but if they don't, you should ask them to do it. Yes.
Thank you. And now a difficult question, maybe for us to understand. What are the studies and research that you are recently involved in?
Well, I'm what is called a elementary particle theorist. I'm a theorist, so I work with a blackboard and a pencil and paper. I don't work in a laboratory. And I've worked on theories of elementary particles and their interactions. And for many years now, I've been working in a field which is the topic of the workshop here now, string theory. In fact, there's going to be the annual Strings Conference in Rome next week. And there's a workshop here at the Galileo Institute on string theory right now. That is a very ambitious and yet unfinished attempt to unify all the forces of nature in one single framework that will explain electricity and magnetism, the nuclear forces and gravity all together. And we're in the middle of this development, and it's very exciting, but a lot of work remains to be done. But that's what makes it interesting. If it was all done, it would be boring.
Nothing to study.
Nothing to study.
Thank you very much.
Pleasure.